Hey everyone, welcome to episode number 19. Come with me if you want to live. We're going to be talking about artificial intelligence today, and so I thought it was appropriate to pull in a little Terminator.
We're not going to get to the chopper?
No, not quite, but I just thought it'd be fun to, Skynet's going to destroy us and take over the whole world.
Does it have to? We're already doing a good job on our own.
I know, right? Yeah, no Skynet required. We'll screw it all up anyways. But welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Peanut Gallery. Welcome to this great and awesome episode. We are going to be talking about 4 different things today. And so make sure you stick around for the whole thing. Make sure you drop a hello in the chat there, Peanut Gallery. And we're excited to be talking about our 4 topics for today because they're exciting. I think a couple of them are going to be very much relevant to you, especially if you're a user of Jira, and especially if you have a thing or two, or maybe you have a love or a hate relationship with AI. We'll find out in this episode. And we're going to be talking about Rodney's got an international trip coming up.
That I do.
We'll talk about a Bizarro episode coming up in the future. And we will be talking about a little bit of JSM. And what was that last one, Rodney? Oh, the QuizWhiz.
We talk QuizWhiz, yeah.
QuizWhiz. So let's start off with that. So everybody, just want to let you know that the ACE QuizWhiz is officially, or round 2 for 2023 is officially underway, or will be officially underway. The brackets were announced, and we're excited. Rodney, why don't you? I'll stall for a little bit, but why don't you pull up that bracket? Here we go. And let's take a look at who the competitors are. So, in case you don't know what the QuizWhiz is, it's a quiz from hell. It's the way
It's not that bad.
It's the worst thing I do. I'm dreading it. I'm getting anxiety. I'm losing sleep over it.
I'm excited.
How?
I have last year's champion on my team.
Very, very much valid point. Dang it. Yeah. All hail King Bob. If anybody's ever wondered why we call him King Bob, is because he's the reigning champion from last year, defending title, Mr. Bob here from our very own Peanut Gallery. So very congrats to Bob. Let us know, Bob, in the comments here. How are you feeling? How are you prepping up? Any tips, any tricks? Definitely any tricks that you want to send to your competitors. Those are more than welcome. But yeah, we're excited that the QuizWhiz is back. Any way we can make this picture a little bit bigger? Is it clickable? There we go. So here's the lineup for round 2. It's going to be an interesting round. Just to give everybody a little bit of background on what this whole QuizWhiz is, right? So it started, I'm assuming last year, right? That's the first time I participated was last year. I'm assuming 2022. Yep. Yeah. So it started last year where you basically pit members of the Atlassian community in this like Jeopardy style of a game show where you got to answer questions. And you would think that you're answering questions about, how to format a workflow or create a custom field, because that would make way more sense to be quizzing members of the Atlassian community. But no, this thing's asking you about Pele, some soccer player that I've never heard of before.
How have you not heard about Pele? I don't follow sports, and I've heard of him.
We went to downtown Disney. There's a store called Pele, and I told my wife, I'm like, where was this store like a month ago? Because that would have come in handy. But yeah, so it's like pop culture and this really ridiculous like type of questions that are just so freaking hard that
At least we don't have the emoji questions anymore.
Yeah, those were really hard, but I had a lot of those. I liked the most. That was probably my favorite question. Now we gotta like look through the word search. But yeah, so anyways, so that was last year. It was a singles four-way, 1 versus 1 versus 1 versus 1. This year, because Atlassian's theme is better together, impossible alone, or backwards. Is it backwards? Is it impossible alone, better together, or something? I don't know.
Yeah, impossible alone, better together.
There we go. Whatever the Atlassian's theme is of doing teamwork this year, the masterminds of the QuizWhiz Trundle here decided to make it a partners game, right? So I have my partner Dita, who may or may not be watching the replay, but if you are, hello. And then of course Rodney is here with Bob, who are the
Defending champion team.
That's a bit of a stretch, Rodney. You didn't have a whole lot to.
All right, I fell in like the semifinals because I had COVID, and I still blame the COVID.
Where's your womp 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 sound effect?
I have it somewhere.
Somewhere. Impossible alone, possible together. That is the theme. So, in trying to align with that, we are doing a partner. So now this just came out about a day or two ago. This is for round 2, and this is who's going to be going up. So if you haven't caught this show and you want to watch your favorite Atlassian celebrities struggle really badly,
Always a struggle.
yeah, make sure you check out the previous videos. They have, I think, all of last year's and then all of the previous rounds. So I'm going to be going up against Alluvia, who I've never heard of, but I rest assured that I am studying you like a hawk. We will not lose. Also, fun little fact, I am completely dead weight when it comes to this QuizWhiz because my partner Dita is the only reason that we made it to this round, right? I maybe answered like 1 or 2 questions correctly. She had everything else. But yeah, why don't we talk a little bit about strategy? Like, what are you excited about? Let's turn this into a little Joe Rogan. How are you guys? Any thoughts about how to take out the competition? Any advantages or any disadvantages, Rodney? Any strategies that you're gonna take on this year?
The big thing that's really stumped people in the last round were those word finds.
Those word finds. And so Andy, our very own peanut gallery participant here, Andy had some good advice, right? He had some good tips last time.
Yeah.
You want to share what that tip was, or do you want me to say it?
You go for it.
Okay. So the tip, right? So if you're watching this, insiders, right? So if you're not watching, where is, by the way, Mr. Barbecue?
I don't know where he is.
So Mr. Barbecue, as you all know him as Ed Gale's Barbecue. Wow, that is a loud plane. Hopefully you all can't hear that. The tip here is when you're doing the word search or the word find, instead of trying to find and, glance at the entire grid of letters that are just jumbled letters, divide and conquer, right? Somebody take the top half, the bottom half, the left side or the right side. But since we're in teams or in pairs, somebody take one side and somebody take the other side, so that you're just kind of laser focused on one little piece, because it is troubling to find. Hopefully he does not hear this as we're. Oh yeah, emojicon. So if you when you scroll up a little bit higher, then so we can actually see the names. Rodney, if you scroll up, I think they have all the names, right? So the other way, yeah. So we have Ed Gale and Nikki is going to be going up against Andrew and Tamana. We got Dave and Jens going up against Rodney and Robert. Sidoni and I should not have tried to do this in public like this. Chaitanya is going up against I know her. Katarizna? I should not say this. Katarzina. Help me, Rodney. Kat. We're going up against Kat and Christoph. Esther and Derek versus Astrid and Janko. Babade and Lewis are going up against Dita and myself. And we got Sukriti and Jennifer going up against AJ and John. So why don't we do a little peanut gallery wager? Because somebody in this post already said, where's the betting pool? Who do you think will win? Man, I do not think that we're going to win. I am not. I am
optimistic.
I'm not optimistic. I'm telling you, I was complete dead weight. Like, these questions are so hard.
So what have you been doing?
So here's my strategy. I am going to watch every single video and study the style question and see if I can't figure out how other people think and ponder through the question. What do you? Oh, you're gonna watch movies?
How much of it is pop culture? Seriously.
So one thing I was considering was there's that one question that is always a straight ripoff of the Atlassian UI. And so I'm just going to print out screenshots of all the different parts of the website and kind of just look at what's the missing word from these websites. Enjoy binging. Yeah, so I'm gonna be watching them all, Andy. I'm just gonna like study the competition. I think just like a good sports team that watches the replay of their enemies, I'm gonna be watching everybody's videos and seeing how they think, where they got stuck, their weak areas, their strengths, trying to figure that out. Ronnie's gonna be watching movies. Bob, what are you doing? How does the king remain king? Enlighten us with your wisdom, Bob. Maybe we can remove your title from you. You know what we should do though is like an official like transferring of the second year in a row that Sean bets against. Never doubt in Mr. Wen here. I just don't understand how anybody can get any of these questions correct. They're just so freaking hard.
And the thing is, the best team has a bye this round.
What do you mean?
The best team from round one, because we had an odd number, they're not in this round.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Who's the best team?
I want to say it was Brittany's team.
Oh, I don't see Brittany here. That's a good call. Brittany. Why didn't I pick Brittany? Next year, Brittany, if you're watching this, I'm going after you. I will say, Chris and I were going to partner up, but Dita beat Chris to the punch. And so I was like, I don't know Dita, but let's do it. I wanted to try somebody new, and it worked out so well. She is so good at this. Like, I would not be surprised. Like I said, I'm a dead weight to her, right? But if it was up to her, I'm pretty sure she'd knock King Bob out of his throne.
So that does lead me to one rule they added.
What rule is that?
So if your partner cannot make a game, you can replace them once, but it's a permanent replacement.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that one. Oh, because I didn't watch the live stream that they had.
Yeah.
Andy actually, so Andy was my quiz master for my episode, which I really, really appreciated. I think it was really great to have Andy on there. But I don't know what it's going to be like if I ever get a chance to go up against Andy. Do you know if they're going to do it like you know how in like football and baseball we have like the East and the West type of thing? Like, is it even possible for me to ever go up against the Emojicons?
I think each round they spin the wheel, and that's how they figure out their matchups.
Okay, so it's because, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Like certain teams will never be able to hit. They'll never be able to like play against another team unless they actually win.
I don't think that's what's going on here.
They didn't get that elaborate.
No.
Well, anyways, this is going to be a fun one. Did they say when it starts?
I believe they did, but I am not remembering.
Mr. King Bob, do you know when this goes in? No brackets. Best team in the quarter.
A bit of a delay.
Bob, let us know. I use locker room material like Chris Cook trash talking. You know what? I think that would be like if I were to like do this QuizWhiz myself, that would be like the one thing that I would like to do. I know Andy wasn't happy with it and he kind of told me to cut it off. But being able to like, I wouldn't say trash talk, but being able to like, you know, throw off the opposing team, like maybe lead them down the wrong path, right? Or just distract them while they're thinking. I think that would be like, maybe we got like 3 of those, right? Or something like that. I think that'd be more fun, right? Because the one thing I don't like, right? And again, it's a great show. I already sound like I don't like it at all because it is a freaking hard test. But I do enjoy my hour in that participation. But the one part I don't like is from like a value from an audience perspective, right? If you notice, I don't keep my mouth shut, right? Because the last thing I want is for somebody to jump into this live stream and just hear us crickets.
I mean, the thing I love about our team name is there is never, ever any shortage of memes I could use.
I just wish there was like ways to always, you know, keep the channel or the video alive where you're just like bantering or talking, or like I try to do it because I'm not answering my thing, so I'm just like explicitly But it's like a double-edged sword, though, right? Because in me trying to like keep the thing entertaining, I'm kind of giving out my thought process, which may or may not give the opposing team an edge in case I say something and it's their turn.
I mean, that was a bad problem the first year. We either had Sajid give away the answer himself, or when it's not your turn, you would blurt out the answer without thinking, and then whoever's turn it is gets a free point.
You know what Sajid should do though is like get the clippings of like the most memorable moments and just put those into shorts. Like I think that would be like really like interesting to I think the shorts would do really well there, and then like the most interesting memes would come out of there. I want to get an Infinity Gauntlet for the quarterfinals. Are we dressing up? Like I heard that might be a thing.
I mean, you should. I don't know what the Grummies would dress up as.
Well, do you know what the Grummies is?
No.
So I used to work at Northrop Grumman, and Dita works at Northrop Grumman, and so we're both. Well, I'm a prior Grumman, and she's a current Grumman, and so we're the Grummies. From my old days at Northrop Grumman.
I like the Jira Avengers better.
Yeah, you guys took the I like the barbecue and coffee. In the chat, what are your favorite names here? Wonder Wandas I like that little alliteration there. Agatha Quiztai. What is the Trello, what's Brittany's name? It has something to do with Trello, no? It's always got something to do with Trello. Anybody know what Brittany's name is? I guarantee it's got something to do with Trello. Oh, here we go. She was at the beginning. She was like round something 2 or 3.
She was like round 2. Yep.
Trello human after all. See, I told you there was. Anyways, so put your bets. Let us know in the peanut gallery who do you think's gonna make it to the next. We should at least do like the March Madness, right, where you at least try to call out. I'm gonna put sorry. Actually, I don't know. My heart's kind of ripped. The first one's gonna be hard.
I'm going barbecue and coffee.
Oh, because I like Nikki, I like Ed, but I also like Andy. Andy, I don't know who your partner is, but
Tamana.
Yeah, but I've never met Tamana.
But she's good people too.
She's good people.
But
all right,
I'm not betting against Nikki.
I don't know, man. The Peanut gets its way again. It's gonna be distracting her and getting things out of the dirt, and she's gonna be all kinds of.
All right, so the next one, I know who's going to win. But
Jira Avengers?
Who do you think is going to win?
Jira Avengers? I think, who's on Slytherin? I don't know anybody in Slytherin or Pink Panther. Who are those? Right. I only know Kat, so let's go with Kat then. Is that Pink Panthers?
Kate and Kristoff? Yep.
Okay. Who's a good thing these are being recorded, right? Barbecue for round 1 since Sean, right? So this is gonna be fun. It's gonna be a great one. I'm very excited. But anyways, I think we beat this up enough. All I can tell you, mid-November, this is gonna start up again. If you haven't watched any of the existing ones, what's your name again? Rodney dropped the link up above, so scroll up on the chat. Definitely check them all out. There's about 8 or 9 rounds that are out there right now. Worth watching. Again, I would like to make them a little bit more entertaining. I would like to be able to throw jabs. I would like to be able to,
There should be some amount of trash talk.
I just think, I don't like that you jump in there and it's just like you're thinking and you're quiet.
I try not to think out loud, but
that's what makes it fun. That's why, Chris's is so enjoyable, because Chris is, just throwing out, the dumbest things out there and just, saying some random stuff. That's what I like.
Let's see.
Oops, here we go. It's going to be interesting. We have issues could be equals running. You know what? If I have to go up against you and Bob, I'm going to hope that your internet doesn't work that day. Or you can't hear the words.
Well, you know what? I think that day I'm going to be having a trip to coffee shop.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
Oh man! All right. Well, maybe we'll have to do a Jira Life episode of the QuizWhiz, or maybe we have to come up with our own quiz for the Atlassian community. Maybe one that's actually Atlassian related though, because I swear, when Chris invited me over to this thing, he was like, "Oh, check this out," and I'm like, "I got this. I know how to do Jira." No.
That's a problem. Everyone on this quiz knows Jira. If it's just Jira, everyone's going to get every answer.
But that would be Andy. Is there like a tournament for the ultimate Jira community member? Sean, I'm gonna give you my number so you can be texting me on the side.
You got to show your hands.
I can have it on my screen. Oh man, this is fun. Well, hopefully we go up against you. No brides of t-shirts. This time. This is a fun game. If you haven't seen it again, it's quite enjoyable. Watch us go head to head. I think everybody, a couple of us. Sean, why aren't you in participating?
He wants to save that background of his.
There is a kudos award. Gotta answer questions. Dang it, Andy.
So when is the next Jira duty?
Yeah, we gotta. So I am planning. So I am in the early phases here of this 24-hour live stream. I'm reaching out to folks, and so something I'm gonna be dropping on LinkedIn. My schedule's a little tight for the next couple of weeks, as is yours, Rodney. So I figured mid-November might be appropriate too, and I'm thinking maybe the week or two before Thanksgiving, before people take off for the holiday, right? But probably thinking not the first week of November because it's Mrs. Alex's birthday, that first weekend of November. So probably the weekend after. And so we're gonna go 24 hours. I'm trying to line up. I'm talking to partners and people that sponsor the channel. We're gonna offer like sponsorships for it, and I'm gonna be basically if any of you want to talk for either 30 to 60 minutes, and you have a topic, I'm looking for 24 to 48 people to participate and join me on the live stream.
Oh, you know I'm always good for a presentation or two.
Or 3 or 4. I just cycle you through. But yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm opening up so people can, talk about their apps, talk about, whatever they want to talk about, just make it a little fun. Nothing official. And yeah, we're going to have a good time. So yeah, shooting for 24 hours. I don't know that I'll be able to sleep the whole time or stay awake the whole time, but I got to figure out what happens if I fall asleep.
How many cases of Monster are you getting?
None. I don't drink energy drinks. So one time I almost died.
Hey, that's my line. I'm the one with the air condition here.
Yeah, no, I drank 2 Monsters one time and it was not pretty. It was a week of finals. And I've never felt like your heart was going to stick out of you, but like that day I thought it was going to jump out. It was bad. Never again.
That's me any day I don't take my medicine. So
yeah, take that medicine because it's not a good feeling. I haven't felt it ever since, but I also haven't drank an energy drink in a very, very long time. All right. So QuizWhiz coming up, and again, participate, watch the old ones. Let's talk about the main event. Why don't we jump into a little bit of Skynet? If you all got an opportunity to attend Team 23, we got to meet the very creator of Skynet himself, Mr. Jim Cameron, who apparently likes going by Jim, not James. And so Atlassian, appropriately so, I guess. Do you think it was planned?
I think it was planned.
Do you think it was planned that they had like the inventor of Skynet be like the pre-show for when they were going to announce Skynet for Atlassian?
I do think so because
makes sense.
I was told when I released my article on AI just a few weeks before Team that I was going to find the keynote very interesting.
Miles dice. I'm generalizing, Bob, right? But director, Terminator, and Atlassian assistant are coming. So, Atlassian, if you haven't checked it out already, Atlassian sent out an email, I think today, right? Either today or last night. I think it was last night. Definitely last night. And Atlassian Assistant is slowly but surely, finally, after 6 months, coming out into a beta, right? And so I have not had a chance to set it up. What about you, Ronnie?
I have not either. I have gotten the email, though. I know I have access to it. I just haven't enabled it.
Yeah, so I actually did go in and enabled it on a Jira, but I have just so many dang Jiras that I forgot which one I did it for. But in case you're not aware, Atlassian is rolling out a beta for their new Atlassian Assistant, which is supposed to revolutionize Jira here quite a bit, right? It's supposed to. I think my favorite feature, the thing that I'm looking forward to the most, is if you're an enterprise user, and I already talked to Custom Charts for Jira about this, so I'm not as worried. But hopefully they're trying to figure their life out there too, right? But my favorite feature that I'm most looking forward to is if you're an enterprise, you have access to a data lake, right? Raise your hand if you all knew that if you were on Atlassian Enterprise, you have a data lake, right? And this data lake has like basically all your Atlassian data in there. And today you need like 5 PhDs to be able to get any data out of there. Okay.
Only
Like,
5?
at least minimum 5. Because I tried, I was on their beta program last year, and like they're like, do this, and I'm like, how? This thing does not work. And I'm like, I spent all of my waking hours in Jira and in these tools, and I don't even know how to use this thing. So it's friggin' hard to use, right? But now with the assistant, you can literally in natural language ask the data lake or your JQL, as you're seeing here, find me why we're stuck. Why are we not progressing? What's holding us up? Right? You can ask it simple things like this, because it doesn't even need to be like JQL, right? You can literally ask it in natural English or language, something, right? Like what's not gonna make it this sprint, or what's, whatever you want to ask it, and it's gonna go and generate the JQL for you to go find that information.
Yo, what's whack?
What's whack? What do you mean? Where's the whack?
No, that's what you ask it.
Oh.
You put in, yo, what's whack, and it just figures it out.
It just figures it out. But yeah, it's going to be cool. Like, I think that's my favorite feature. What are you looking forward to the most, Rodney, about the Atlassian Assistant here?
I think mine's is this agent for Slack.
Oh, the virtual agent.
Being able to interact with JSM tickets via virtual agent, I think is going to be a game changer for support teams.
I'm hoping it restores a little bit of sanity back into my life too, because one of the things that I absolutely hate doing is being that first line of defense when I'm looking at some of these requests. What do you think it'll do to the Atlassian community, Andy? Right? Will we be out of a job? Will the kudos even matter? What if people can just ask the Atlassian assistant how to solve their Jira problem? I'm dying to find out what Andy says about you. Come on, Andy. Don't tell me your internet crapped out on the train. How is Atlassian Assistant going to change the face of the Atlassian community, right? Like people depend on so much. I know it's not part of the community, but you got to think.
Not part of the community
yet. But you got to think forward, right? Like, what do you think is going to happen the moment that Atlassian puts in the Atlassian Assistant to tap full access to all the questions ever built or ever asked?
Again, Andy, just because it's not doesn't mean this won't come.
Maybe it's an opportunity for someone to create it. Somebody go scrape community.atlassian.com and build it.
I mean, how many data points for correct answer do you have in there?
Because that's part of the thing, right? Like the virtual assistant is supposed to be able to query your existing tickets and be able to answer questions, right? Within the bounds of JSM? I think that's what I heard. No, is that not gonna be possible? You would think it can. It's gotta be, right? Because everything that's in your Jira ticket is a JQL-able thing. I think I just made a word.
The thing I wonder is the key to these large language modules is you need a lot of data.
Yeah, but where's your more data then?
I'm wondering if they're using data from people's instances to build this large language model or not.
That would be interesting, right? Look, so is it like Tesla where so who's reading those fine prints and since you don't own your issues because they're in the cloud, does Atlassian have access to everybody's issues to train their models?
Maybe there's a reason they want to push everyone to the cloud.
Dun, dun, dun. When are we gonna do that? We should have a dedicated like conspiracy theories controversial episode.
No, the Atlassian iceberg episode.
Check the EULA. Of course, we gotta check the EULA. So that would be interesting though. Like at least with that company though, right? Like I think.
Come on, Andy. At least entertain the conspiracy theory.
Andy's a straight shooter, man. He plays by the books.
I know he does.
See, you can't get to Andy's position in the world though without being a straight shooter. That's what we're the peasants here. But yeah, no, I think it's gonna be interesting, right? Again, we're still in beta, folks. You gotta humor us a little bit. Andy has actually read the EULA, so he says no. So, it's one thing though to read the EULA, and it's one thing to put a statement in the EULA, and then it's another thing to let a developer with the right power do something that may or may not be ethical, right? Because how many people like our companies have like leaks, right? Like every person is supposed to keep things.
All right, here's a meta question if ever there was one. So, a couple of weeks ago, a certain barbecuer or barbecuing friend of ours was quoted as saying that I like to quote the bear being Atlassian. So if I'm the one who pokes the bear, Andy's definitely one who does the anti-bear poke.
Oh man, I think we do it with good intention, though. No, like we love this stuff. We clearly can't live without Jira, but we also don't want to. I think my favorite line, if I had to put a book of Rodney lines, would be "The hand that feeds." Was from a direct quote from your ever so controversial article that went viral within the halls of Atlassian.
Yeah. That's so scary.
And he says that the E for EULA stands for N, not ethical. So, oh man, I don't know. I'm so excited. Like but bringing it back to this whole Atlassian Access. Check it out. It's in your admin.atlassian.com. You can go to it and you can enable it. And interestingly enough, Ronnie, I don't know if you've ever enabled it yet, but you do get to kind of pick. I don't even think you need to do early access. Like my Jira already had it, right? But you do get to pick which products you want to enable it on. And so you get to pick like if your Confluence, your JSM, or your Jira software. And so I did enable it, but I actually haven't tried it out or used it. But it's kind of interesting because I remember walking off that stage in April and I'm like, I can't wait to try this. And now that I have it, no time.
I'm sorry, but Atlassian has the habit of announcing stuff way before it's ready. And I'm sorry, if you're going to announce something, I want to play with it today.
I know, right? It's like you want to go home and like try it out that day. You don't. I wonder why they do it like that though.
They want to build hype.
Yeah, but like Steve Jobs did that one thing too, right? Like Apple was really good at doing this where like Apple would never announce a product until it was ready, right? So they wouldn't go on stage and go in 6 months. The only like I don't know what the heck was up with this whole vision thing that they announced it like a year and a half ahead of schedule. Like this is not Apple, right? I just got my iPhone. I just went and got a new iPhone.
That's right, Jeremy goes, he's one of those.
Yeah, I went and got a new iPhone and let me see, make sure there's no and like this was on the box, right? Like this is how they gave it to me. And I told my wife, I'm like, Steve Jobs never would have allowed this. Like this is garbage. Like how they they put it on there. Steve Jobs is rolling in his grave right now. We got a question from Damien. Wonder if the AI system will launch on DC ever.
I'm going to answer that for you. No.
So in those 3 dots, put never.
Yeah, there's an N somewhere in those 3 dots.
Yeah. Sorry, man. I don't think... Actually, so Ronnie, I want to talk a little bit about that now because I've had a little bit more time ever since our episode last week about our migration woes and things. And I don't know if you saw, so from our episode last week, we were talking about FedRAMP. And so since that episode, right, Atlassian had just dropped a new article on FedRAMP. And I think our very own Bob here is the one that called it out, Q1 2025.
Yeah.
That's a freaking long ways away from
February 4th, 2024.
It is. And do you see? I wrote back to that Atlassian PM on LinkedIn. So somebody at Atlassian who's behind FedRAMP posted that, hey, we are going to be dropping this in 2025, right? And so my comment to them was like, why such a big gap between when you're going to drop this and when FedRAMP becomes available? Because you don't get any of the cool functionality, right? And so I didn't know. I know, Ronnie, you're the one that introduced me to this, where you told me that, like, hey, if you're on server, all you got to do is buy the DC license and apply it and you're good to go, right? Like, no migration headaches required. But then you get nothing. No features.
There are features on data center that are not on server. They're in the code, but they're not activated until you have a data center license.
Which one? Putting you on the spot. Don't open your mouth. Don't open your mouth if you're not ready to answer.
Most of them are around clustering. I know there's some dedicated ones about how you can work with issues, but I'm blanking because you put me on the spot all of a sudden.
TBD. DC gives you advanced roadmaps. Apparently the server version doesn't.
Yeah, that's one thing.
So yeah, but still, right? Like, I get the point.
Automation for Jira.
Automations too?
Yeah.
Wow.
It comes bundled in with data center. It is not with server.
So those are interesting, right? Those are some pretty big heavy hitters there. Key critical functionality that you get in the cloud, obviously, but apparently you only get if you get to DC, right? But again, like, I just feel like a lot of companies, man, the cloud's the way, man. Everything that was announced this year, if I'm not mistaken, was literally favored for cloud. But we can't get it.
It's been about 3 years since they had a feature announcement for data center. 3 teams. As a data center user, I cannot tell you how frustrating that is.
And you can't even move to at least my understanding, right, is like, if you're on DC, the only reason that you wouldn't want to move to a cloud is because you need full ownership of your data, right?
Not the only reason.
What's another good reason why you would stay?
Okay, let's say you have integration. APIs are not the same. You're going to have to re-engineer that integration. If you have plugins, custom plugins you
But
build,
how many users actually fall in that boat, though?
Most large companies.
You really think that a lot of large companies did those?
Yeah.
I mean, we had DC. Well, we had server version of Jira when I was at Northrop, and we never, not once, touched that source code. The moment we thought we needed to know Java, we're like, nope, we're not touching this.
And there's lots of companies like that. But if you're building something against the APIs, those are something that almost everyone does. And you have to re-engineer that now.
Yeah, but I'm hoping, again, my naiveness, I'm hoping that that's more of an edge case. I would be more willing to bet that people are stuck on DC because they have federal requirements. But even though I've seen a lot of companies do like ITAR stuff in the cloud, and I'm like, I don't know about that.
I see the future being federated. Organizations within a company that don't need FedRAMP or don't need that are probably going to splinter off and have their own cloud instance and enjoy those features. And those that have those requirements are going to stay on the DC on-prem.
And suffer without AI.
Or be the salvation of humanity.
Or maybe. Skynet's coming. All right, so that was the AI. Again, let us know in the chat if you've played around with it. What's your favorite feature? What are you looking forward to using it the most? I definitely want to use it for making those tickets, at least resolving those tickets or communicating with the user on those tickets a little bit better. My understanding is it takes canned responses to the next level, right? Because you already have canned responses today, but it takes it to the next level. All right, up next, Mr. Ronnie, next week, we may not have an episode.
I think you're still going to have an episode.
You think I'll still have an episode? But why are we not gonna have? Why? Where are you gonna be?
Next week, specifically this time slot, I'm going to be flying back to the U.S. So that's why we may not have an episode. Reason why I'm flying back to the U.S. is before Thursday, I'll be in Poland.
So, you want to hear how dumb I am?
Go ahead.
So, I don't remember if it was an email or an IM or something, but you said the word Krakow earlier.
Yeah?
And I was like, what crack is this guy on? I thought you were just making up like a word. I did not know it was like a city.
It is a city.
I did not know that. I really thought that when you said Krakow that you were just trying to be all gangster or something.
No, you'll know when I'm being that cringe.
Yeah?
See our earlier clip about AI.
All right, so you're going to be in Poland. What are you going to be talking about? Can you share that?
Yes, I can. I have 2 events I'm going to be participating in. The first one right after the keynote is this one. It is a debate measuring the impact of digital transformation.
Hey, look, there's a name we recognize.
Yeah, I still want to know who this guy they're talking about is.
Active Jira admin, Atlassian community leader, and Atlassian certified expert. Geez, do you have any more room in your email signature? As well as a writer behind the Jira Guy blog. This sounds like it was made by AI, by the way. This sounds very ChatGPT. Have you ever put who is the Jira Guy into ChatGPT?
No, I have not, and I'm scared to.
I'm pretty sure that it'll come up with that. Well, I'm excited for you. I would never leave the country. But I'm hoping that you get to meet a lot of our friends that we got to meet at Team 23.
Yep.
And vaya con Dios, amigo.
Yep. As I said, I have 2 events, so that's the first one.
Oh, you got a second one?
Yeah, second one, I'm giving a presentation later in the day. It's ITSM track. We're talking what you need to do if you got too many tickets coming in.
So, folks, in the chat here, let us know. There's a couple of options that we have. We either A, move this thing around to when Ronnie's not airborne. B, we move it to a different day to when Ronnie's not airborne. C, Rodney and I pre-recorded. Sean says other countries are not scary, Alex. I just need to get a passport, Sean. I had my top secret clearance for the longest time and never wanted to travel because I didn't want to deal with all that paperwork and stuff. But now that I only live 35 minutes from Mexico. I just can't ever come back. I need a passport, man. I want to get a passport, but then I was like, I haven't even seen the United States. So I'm like, I think I would drive to that Huntsville thing that we were talking about last week first before I try to go.
Oh, you want to drive that?
Well, maybe fly then. Maybe fly.
It's a fly.
What's a drive for you?
San Diego? It's a...
Yeah. But yeah, so that's so we're getting down to the letters, Andy. The other option, right, is get a co-host. So if anybody wants to jump in here and replace Mr. Rodney, let me know. Always welcome to have another person join us. And so open invitation. Andy, maybe you don't want to be on the train that day. Wink, wink. 3 months wait for a passport, 2 months for expedited.
Yeah. I am a fan of the get a guest co-host because I fully expect to be dead. Dead man walking.
Open invitation. Let me know via LinkedIn if you are available between 2 and 3 p.m. Pacific time, 5, 6 Eastern. Events Andy. Yeah, now let's... Where's Andy at? Help me explain the hashtag. Everybody get Andy peer pressured so he jumps in here. We need Andy.
I mean...
We can Andy, we can dedicate the entire episode to Confluence. The whole thing, just you and Confluence. But in all seriousness, we are going to be figuring out. So I'll put up a poll on LinkedIn during the week, and we'll figure it out. So that'll be that will be next week, and the week after that is going to be a very special episode as well. Do you want to tell them why it's going to be a special next week? Next week?
All right. So normally I'm over here in Atlanta, Georgia, in the East Coast, Eastern time zone. My friend Alex is in San Diego on the Pacific time zone. The week after I get back from Poland, we're going to swap that.
I'm going to the East Coast for the first time in my life.
And I'm going back to the West Coast.
So we are. It's going to be the Bizarro episode. So maybe we talk about not Jira that day and not Trello. Maybe we talk about like Microsoft Azure DevOps or something.
Salesforce.com.
ServiceNow. We talk about everything that's not all things Jira.
GitLab.
Give us some ideas, guys. It's going to be the special Bizarro episode. So if you got any ideas for what we should talk about in the Bizarro episode, let us know, because this is never going to happen again. I'm never going to be on the East Coast again.
You know, I think we should take the opportunity and have an episode of the Confluence Live.
The Confluence Live. I kind of like that. That would be probably pretty cool. I don't know how much Confluence I can talk about, though. I don't understand how Andy loves Confluence so much. Jab, jab.
I mean, 2 words here. Whiteboards.
That I can get behind all day long. I love the whiteboards. But only because I like the stickies and conversions to Jira. By the way, the people love those videos. Those are doing really, really well. People are loving whiteboards. Although I don't know a single team that uses it, though.
You give me something I can put GIFs on, I'm going to be happy.
You're going to be happy?
Yep, just got to put those GIFs anywhere.
So, just to give you guys a little bit of history of my career, right? I worked defense industry almost my entire career. Very, very serious, right? Very, very military type. Very much like there's a pecking order, there's respect, there's, seniority, and you obey that chain of command, which is probably why I hate authority so much right now, right? And so I left that life and I went to a small robotic startup here based out of San Diego. If you've ever been to a Walmart or a Sam's Club, take a look for a big old giant Roomba-like vehicle that you can drive on that is cleaning the floors of Walmart. That was, I helped build those. So anyways, my first day on the job, I got Slack. And I got invited to, those general channels and all the cool channels that everybody was in. And I'm scrolling through. I have never seen Slack in my life because we use, what was a precursor to Teams? Link? We use Link. And Link wasn't even like, you could even have group chats, right? Like it was very just one person I am, right? And so all of a sudden I'm tossing from Link, which is like 1999 technology, into Slack, and all the channels are all links. There we go. All the channels were full of GIFs. And I was like, holy moly, how am I supposed to understand what they're saying? Because I couldn't. It wasn't in English. It was like people would ask a serious question, like who wants to go out for lunch, and then you'd have like GIFs galore. It was just like people going to lunch. Sorry, Sean. I guess 1999 would have been Skype, right? Because Links came after Skype, but before Teams.
Also, to be fair, Teams still feels a little bit like 1999.
Hey, man, they're making it better. But anyways, that's my little story about GIFs and why I have a love-hate relationship with GIFs, because I'm like, you can never, like, if a picture's worth 1,000 words, man, a GIF's worth like 10,000. Mm-hmm. So you can never tell what's what. So anyway, so we talked about the AI. We talked about the Jira Day. We talked about FedRAMP again. We talked about, obviously, the QuizWhiz. So the last item we want to talk about here in the last 10 minutes is Atlassian. Oh. Hip chat. Did you ever use it?
Yes, I did. I managed it.
You managed. I installed. I had it going for when I was at the good old Grummy. We used it for like a whole month, maybe 2. I thought it was revolutionary. Again, when you compare that with Links,
yeah,
it was revolutionary. We're like, whoa, what is this? But then like the costs were like not justifiable, because then it was only our team that was on HipChat, and you couldn't talk to people outside of our team. But I kind of liked HipChat. I'm sad that they didn't bring it over. I feel like they could have done something there. Who was talking about this? I can't remember, but somebody was talking about like context-aware conversations and why why Jira would be great if we had like a Slack channel type of thing. Like if there was like a Slack built into Jira, that would be cool. Because then like I can't remember why. Somebody's beating something else upside. But yeah. Let's talk about this last article. Rodney, can you Google?
I can Google.
Can you Google JSM customer details? Persistency. That's probably the word I was looking for. Persistent, right? Not letting that conversation disappear in you. Andy, drop in the chat if you still remember your AOL screen name.
I remember it. I am not going to share it.
You're not going to share it? What, was it cool?
It was cool because I was 16 and I didn't know better. Someone should have stopped me.
You know what? Maybe instead of this topic of the JSM thing, why don't we talk about this? This is breaking news, and we didn't want to make this into breaking news. Where's your breaking news? Dun, 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 dun. No, that's the NFL. Please don't sue us, NFL. I know I'm not supposed to use your sounds. I'm trying to do the breaking news sound effect. But anyways, Atlassian has made an acquisition. Hopefully this one works out better than the other ones.
I mean, automation for Jira's worked out real well for them.
Yeah, but not the assets that broke down their entire tool. So, Atlassian today, straight out of Anu's Instagram. I mean, LinkedIn. Atlassian has acquired Loom. What are your thoughts here, Ronnie? I looked at this and my gut reaction was, why?
I mean, Atlassian has had a habit past few years of buying things they're a fan of. And I can't tell you how many Loom things I've gotten from Atlassian over the past few years.
Was it $1 billion? Did it cost them? Yeah, no, there's over $1 billion workers. How does this change the industry? I don't understand. Like, I get that they like Loom, but like, where does Loom fit in the DNA of Atlassian?
All right, let's just stick with software development.
Hit me.
You have a bug.
But there's okay.
It's difficult to replicate. But you have that one guy who has that one environment who could get it to happen every time. Now he records his experience, puts it in a Jira ticket.
It makes sense. You have a release. You make a video talking about what your app does.
Yeah. You have a podcast.
We're coming up with all the use cases. We're hoping Atlassian justify their $1 billion expense. No, but in all seriousness, now that kind of does make sense, right? But again, my initial reaction was like, I don't understand why Atlassian needs Loom. Do you think they'll rebrand Atlassian Screen Share? Do you think they'll give it a cool name?
I think if they do, it's going to be some sort of Jira name. It's going to get the Jira line treatment.
I'm curious to see how they'll be able to integrate this into whiteboards, man. If you can just put like little videos everywhere and make cool little Looms and like maybe do like connectors so that because you can do like an onboarding document where like, here's this video connected to this video, connected to this video.
Can you Control-C, Control-V them? I just have the same video playing at the same time in like 60 different places.
Damien, I wish I could give out prizes. This one wins. Atlassian Bloom. Bob's good. It's pretty good too. Jira too. At Loomsian. Next we will have storage tiers like automation tiers. Oh yeah. I guarantee you they're gonna be like 3 hours free with the free version, 10 hours of Loom storage with this, and unlimited for enterprise. I can see that happening. Bob's got another use case over here, is recording bugs for ITSM playbooks, etc. Man, I'm not gonna lie, but I use it all the time. It's how I recorded the Confluence quiz for the community. I use OBS for all of our stuff, and obviously we have StreamYard here. I wonder if they can make Loom then more like a streamer as well, right? I don't think there's any streaming capabilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to make like I don't know, just things where you maybe do your demos, do your retrospectives or something, and have it all integrated into the UI and your sprint reviews.
How-to videos. I mean, how many screenshots do I have to take to do what you do in a 5-minute video?
Yeah, I know, right? That's probably why I don't do blogs. You'd be surprised though, man. It takes a lot of effort to do all that stuff.
Oh, I'm not saying it doesn't. I get it.
Sean
there
says
with you.
Videos. Little poll for the community here. Oh my gosh, Ed. Well, first of all, we made so much fun of you. But second, we'll come back to you. Videos that will never be watched again. In the chat, totally unrelated, but just to satisfy my own curiosity. How many of you have actually watched the recording since the pandemic started? You know, like how many meetings I've been to where they're like, we're going to record it, or can you record this meeting? And then it goes into like a recording black hole. Like, have you, Rodney, ever seen a recording from a meeting that was recorded intentionally?
I mean, I once. It was the Atlassian creator thing. I had to miss.
But because you miss it, right? But when have you ever like recorded a meeting and say, I'm gonna reference this meeting again to like make notes or whatever? You're sharing all your top secrets.
I know.
They're fine recording. So just any like Zoom meeting, Sean, right? Like have you ever gone back and actually referenced something that was said in a meeting? Because I feel like ever since the pandemic started and we got introduced to recording meetings, like every meeting is recorded, but I'm just sitting here with like 10 gigabytes worth of videos that I'm never going to look back at. I should make a YouTube video of all that. Ed says down monthly business reviews. That's what I'm talking about, right? Anyways, Ed, just to recap, because we got 4 minutes, we made fun of barbecue and...
No. Alex made fun of barbecue coffee.
I feel like I need to earn my graces with Andy, so I have to be on Team Emojicon. Because I'm hoping that puts me on Andy's good graces. Andy, you all let me know if it's working or not, my bribery or not.
All I said is I'm not betting against Nikki. It's just incidental.
But yeah, Ed, so we talked about the upcoming QuizWhiz, and we're trying to. If you got to scroll up so you can see what everybody was voting on, who was gonna win the next round. So I have to go vote for Andy just so that. So again, because I'm trying to very. See, I'm already in his good graces. Never mind. Andy, when are you gonna? It's like a month away, right, Andy? We're gonna have to go hang out somewhere. Barbecue and coffee, baby. Ed Gell and Andy Gladstone in the same room. Ed was at the conference, right? Yeah, so we've had them in the same room before.
Yeah.
I didn't know Ed though. I had no idea that I walked past Ed 1,000 times. November 14th. All right, so let's wrap this one up then, folks. Thank you very much for being here with us. Hope you enjoyed a little bit. And again, breaking news, Loom becomes Bloom. We should submit these to Atlassian. JiraTube at Loomsian. You heard it here first, folks. But anyways, I hope you had fun. We are going to be, again, next week looking for a guest speaker. So if anybody wants to come and or maybe send messages to Andy to peer pressure him to jump in on this with me next week, since I'm in his good graces, we are looking for a co-host for next week's episode. So if you're interested yourself, send me a message. We'll get you a link, and it doesn't need to be one. We have room for 12. So if everybody wants to be in here, maybe we bring in the whole peanut gallery and make everybody talk. So if everybody wants to join me, we'll just have the best episode when Ronnie can't be here.
Sounds fair.
So, with that said, thank you very much, everybody. Over to Rodney to close it out. Maybe, Rodney, if you can maybe do a quicker version. Let's go.
All right. Thank you for listening to Jira Live. My friend is Alex, Dr. Jira Ortiz. You can find him at Tech Tutorials. My name is Rodney, better known as the Jira Guy. You can find me at thejiraguy.com. We record this podcast every Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. YouTube.com/@thejiralife. Be sure to join us and the other people at the Peanut Gallery every week to ask questions, add your comments, and see what we're up to. If you can't join us live, you can find this podcast on Apple iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast from. If you think this podcast deserves rating, please do. It does help us out. And as always, we didn't choose the Jira Life. The Jira Life chose us.